Hello, my name is Andrew Perry, and today we're going to be going over a snake game that I made in C++. First thing I've ever really made in C++, so this is kind of exciting, getting to learn. And yeah, I'll just start with walking through the code, and then we'll see a demonstration of how it works. All right, so we have, starting off with our includes here. Most of the biggest thing for this project was actually the SDL library, or I guess SDL2, because this is going to be our inputs and outputs through the graphics, the graphical interface, and then the input handling for the rest of our code. And then here we have directions for our snake. And this is the reason why this is its own class, is because this kind of dictates all the rest of the behavior for the program. So we have none for the initial position, up, down, left, right. Then we have a class for each snake segment, because they each have like specific behavior. Just seemed a little easier to do it this way, I guess at first. But you know, we have our snake class, which then stores all of our snake segments in a vector, actually. And what it does is throughout the game loop, it will pick the direction. It'll create a new segment for our vector, and then it'll remove the tail. And then every time the snake eats, it will just skip, removing the tail. So it's a really simple way to do that. And it's kind of funny because when you're really short, what that means is basically every time you move, the snake is a different snake. It keeps replacing itself, which is kind of funny to think about. But it's a pretty easy way to use a vector for this project. So yeah, we start at 7.7, which is the center of our screen. And we actually don't have a direction yet, and so the game doesn't start until we start moving. And that's kind of nice because, you know, not everyone knows how to play Snake, or is, you know, not super great at it. And I certainly had a couple times where it would start really quickly, so I wouldn't be able to get much before I crashed. We just have some logic here. Some wall checks. So these are our collision checks. It basically just checks to see if the segment, or the initial segment they had, so segment 0, is out of our bounds. The apple basically spawns just at a random place throughout the whole thing. And the way that this works actually is it only detects if the apple is colliding with the head. So there has been a couple times where it would be basically underneath the snake, and the snake would have to crawl out, or crawl over the apple and then go back to where it was. But not worth fixing. And then we just have the rest of our code here. We have our main function, so we have our initial setup for all of this. The main game loop right there. Just realized I'm running short on time, so I'm trying to move quickly. And then we actually have a text file with the high score, and then that's updated as, or it's not, it's updated if we get a new high score and then we die, right? And then I've actually had it set up so that way every time you get a score, it'll increase your high score on the window itself, so you get to see the score. So that's how you display that. I didn't want to figure out how to do all the text stuff, and you know, didn't have that much time. So this is a shorter version, a workaround, if you will. And with all that said, let's just run it and see how this baby works. So green is us and red is the apple. As you can notice from the top there, we have our score updating as we play. And I'm just gonna see if we can, really quick before my time runs out. Okay, well, I guess you'll have to take my word for it that so as we get the new high score and then the game exits, it'll update the high score text file here, which just says 7. And then the next time we play, it'll show that high score. So I think that's a full demo of my code. Not much to cough at, but you know, not too bad. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed.